how loud is a camera? Or more specifically, how loud is a camera shutter when we take a photo? A few of us here at Brüel in Kjær have decided to find out by measuring camera shutter noise with a B&K 2245 Class 1 sound level meter. To get a variety of shutter sounds and levels, we've rummaged through our personal collections to assemble a diverse range of cameras, from a vintage medium format camera with bellows and an iris shutter through to some of the latest mirrorless digital cameras. To make sure that the measurements from each camera are comparable, we'll keep an equal distance between the microphone and the camera shutter for each test. And we'll measure in a quiet room where the background noise level is low enough not to significantly affect any of our results. But it is important to note that we're not making laboratory standard measurements, and they shouldn't be used as part of any purchasing decision. We're not following any particular measurement standard, and our personal cameras might not be representative of a typical unit. When we measure, we're going to remotely control our B&K 2245 using the Enviro Noise Partner mobile app and overlay the app screen onto the video. We've decided to display the LAF max parameter for our measurements. This parameter uses an A frequency weighting and the F or fast time weighting, and it records the maximum level occurring during the measurement period. This parameter should correspond quite well with how we as humans perceive the relative loudness of each camera, while keeping things simple with a single number. But that's enough talking. Let's start measuring. Now that we've measured the sound from each of our cameras, let's see how they compare and how they relate to some other sounds that we hear in our day-to-day lives by placing them on our sound pressure levels poster. Let's start with some of the older film cameras. So the big Ansco 3A folding vintage camera came in at about 54 dB. And this is just a little bit below typical conversational speech. The Agfa Kjær 6.3 came in at 52 dB, which is just a tiny bit quieter, and we would probably say this would be a just noticeable difference from the Ansco. But the Agfa Isolette 2 came in at 63 dB, which is about 10 dB louder than the Ansco, and we typically say the difference of 10 dB is subjectively about a doubling or a halving of level. So this is very noticeably different to the Ansco. And then the last of our film cameras, the Adixa, this came in at 68 dB. Another 5 above the Isolette, and this is a quite noticeable difference typically. Now let's move on to our DSLRs. So we have our Canon 400D, and this came in at 54 dB. So it's the same level as the Ansco, but I think you'll agree with me it has a very different character to the sound, which may be more or less disturbing. And then the Nikon D800, this came in at 60 dB. And that's a bit louder, but it's also a very noticeably different character to the Canon. Now we'll move on to our mirrorless digital cameras. So the first one we'll put up is the Canon M50, and this measured at 51 dB. So this is the quietest camera on the board so far, which you would probably expect because there's no sound from a mirror slapping. And now we have the first of our Fujifilm cameras, the X-H1. This measured at 44 dB. And this is also a 10 dB difference from, say, the Canon and the Ansco, so this is about half as loud, we would say, subjectively. And then last, and indeed least noisy, we have the Fujifilm X-T4, which we measured at 41 dB. So how loud is a camera? Well, it depends a lot on the camera, but at a distance of 1 meter, it's probably somewhere between 40 and 60 dB if the camera has a mechanical shutter. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in looking at our measurements in more detail, click the links below to download our complete measurement project and our Enviro Noise Partner PC software.